Hi guys, I'm back to do a real covenants essay approach with you. Basically, it's to write up a real covenants issue on the bar exam, California bar exam. Here I'm just going to put the main issues and I'll give you a couple of rules. But really it's easy and simple as long as it's memorized. First we start off with the real covenant right here. And we make sure that, I bold this, make sure that we have a rule for it. Then we move on to burden to run, and my mnemonic is NIT V8, which is notice. Underline notice here, and we do intent, touch and concern, vertical and horizontal privity. And these are all issues, so right below the issue, obviously, we do have to write a rule and discuss our facts there. Okay, but those are the main issues for burden to run with the land, and then we move on to benefit to run with the land, which is ITV. So all we are using on the only issues we have here are intent, touch and concern, and vertical privity. And we go to remedies if there's a breach of real covenant, and then termination of the covenant. So those are the main issues. Now usually it's easier just to, when I'm practicing my exams, I usually just write in. I just usually go onto the computer and I type up all my main issues first. So real covenant, burden to run with the land, intent, touch and concern, vertical privity, horizontal privity, benefit to run, these three, remedies, termination of the covenant. That way I have an outline of what I'm going to fill in during the exam. So I usually just write it up as I'm practicing, and I type it up, and then I fill in the issues as we go along, as I use the facts. So a real covenant is a written promise concerning the use of real property. Covenants are either affirmative or negative. You guys know all of this. The burden refers to the duty to perform, and the benefit refers to the privilege of forcing another party to perform that duty. After we give our rule here, then we move on to burden to run, and we have to touch on all of these. So we have notice. Now there are three types of notice. Obviously everybody knows these: actual notice, constructive notice, inquiry notice. And we do have to reflect on all of them. So actual notice is actually direct knowledge. Constructive notice is public, by virtue of the covenant being recorded with the public official, something you can look up. Inquiry notice is a reasonable inspection of the property of the land that would have revealed the covenant that we're talking about here. After we give these, we give a little, we space, and then we give our facts here at the bottom. Intent. The original covenanting party must have intended that the successors in interest be able to enforce the covenant. So this is our successors being able to enforce the covenant, and it must have been intended by the original parties. Touch and concern. Now that's if a covenant touches and concerns the land when it directly relates to the use and enjoyment of the land. So I just use keywords to memorize these. But obviously on the exam, you're going to write out a complete, sentence for them. And then vertical privity. So we go next to vertical privity and give it a little rule. Vertical privity exists between the original party to the covenant and the subsequent owner. And now in order for them to be bound by the covenant, the successor must hold the entire estate in land held by the original party. So that's our key here. The successor must hold the entire estate in land held by the original party. And then we have horizontal privity. We give our little rule here. Let's take our underlining off. So I think you guys get the picture. So that's usually how I do these. Now, these are issues. This real covenant is a major issue on the bar exam. If you do get a real property, they're from the 2000 to 2019 bar exam, the released essays they put on the actual site, I've seen it about 7 times. So it is popular. And if you know the approach, it's quick, it's easy to learn, you memorize your rules, and you can run with it. So benefit to run with the land. Intent is the same rule as we have up here, the successors. Touch and concern is also the same rule, so it relates to use and enjoyment of the land. So you can put see above, or you can put supra for the rule, or see above, or however you want to do that. And then vertical privity is the exact same thing also. So basically you have all this, and you can get, we only have 30 minutes to do this exam. I'm sorry, 60 minutes to complete this one essay. So it'd be fast and super a lot of it, and get your facts down. And then we go to remedies for breach of a real contract. So the non-breaching party only gets monetary damages. So we have to remember that. That's an important fact for the remedies. The non-breaching party only gets monetary damages. So money. Okay, so if they're going to seek an equitable remedy, so if the party seeks an equitable remedy, then the court will enforce the covenant as an equitable servitude instead. Okay, so you have to know that. So if you have to see what are they trying to enforce, or go through both of them. And equitable servitude is going to be my next video, so I'll give you guys the approach to that one. I've narrowed these down, really narrowed them down. They're easy to remember. The issues are easy. They're here. The only thing is you do need to read a couple of essays to see how this works, with the facts. So they can only give you in so many different ways on how they're going to incorporate a covenant into the essay. So if you read from 2000 to 2019 real property essays, you'll see it a lot. You'll see this approach. And once you memorize it, get your rules down, you should be in pretty good shape. Now the termination of a covenant is the same as easement. And in my easement, which I will do next, is my equitable servitude essay approach, which I'll make a video on. And after that will be my easement approach. And that's when you guys will get the termination of the covenant and the easement at the same time. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Let's go ahead and run through them really quickly. This is the real covenants essay approach for the California bar exam, real property. This is just one small issue you might get in the actual essay, but it is common. So this is why I made up this approach with the basic and the main issues so that I can get them memorized. Burden to run. After the burden to run, you're going to put down your inner issues, which are intent, notice, touch and concern, vertical privity, and horizontal privity. And then we do benefit to run, and we have intent, touch and concern, and vertical privity. Now this is easy because we can just do supra because we have all our rules up here. As we started writing the exam, we can just put supra, saves a lot of time. Then we go to remedies, and remember, a remedy, if they want monetary damages, is considered a real covenant. If they're seeking an equitable remedy such as specific performance or an injunction, then the court will enforce the covenant as an equitable servitude. So that's important. And then an equitable servitude is going to be my next video for an approach. So equitable servitude is a different approach. And the termination of a covenant is the same as an easement. So when I do my easement video, you guys can have those terminations memorized for both covenant and easement. Okay, so if you have any questions, please go ahead and let me know below or send me a message. And I thank you guys for supporting and watching, and good luck on the bar exam.